I'm finding that out myself. That would be worth it. Every day of my life. Hey, right? That's all you can ask for. Really? Didn't know you were coming. Didn't know you were coming.
That's not your problem.
I think publicizing this event.
I thought that yesterday.
Publicizing it, so a link that I can send out to people watching. It's live right now. So it's available already. They never actually happened because they thought he'd be in jail today. Come on, you know the answer. You don't fucking know. They thought he'd be in jail today. Come on, wake up, dude. Come on. He didn't ask. They didn't ask. He didn't get it.
Yes, I did. I gave you my word. Did I not?
We're here, Bob. Thank you for being here. I wish you would have been there at the meeting.
Hi, Andy.
Nobody for Sebastian.
Thanks for answering his emails.
I'm not sure.
Damien, how are you, sir? Glad you could make it.
Yes, so am I.
I'm going to sit over here next to you.
They didn't expect me to be here.
I think he's going to put us in alphabetical order. Is he going to put you guys separate? Oh, so we're moving down? Yeah, cool.
No change of order. We're just, and I want to let you know I'm calling you out tonight. Oh, I'm calling you out. You too. I'm calling you out. I want to let you know. I called you 2 years ago about those docs and you lied on the stand. You should be ashamed of yourself. You lied. You said you called me back. You said you didn't know about the docs. You should be ashamed of yourself. I called you. I spoke to you from the scene. I spoke to you. Yes, I did. 2 years ago. You're lying.
I can get started, guys.
Here, come on over. We got room for you. Come on, come close. Got no reason. Get in here. Is he getting you on a nameplate? Turn my phone down.
That's 6 slips. The law enforcement is going to fix them up. They're planning on doing that. You're going to fix them up. You're not going to take 20% of the slips from the Yeah, 20% of the slips from the I grew up there. Those docs are
As I told somebody, well, enjoy the show. Yeah, not even.
Yeah. Either way.
Years, I appreciate the Sebastian did. So
I'll be fine.
No.
Thank you, brother.
Just for real, we started.
What's the red one for? No, T had a red one. Hey, Tina, do the red card. Can you handle that card, Tina?
Right now, 30 seconds.
He's 30 seconds.
You're 30?
Yeah.
See if these things are firing.
Test, test. Test, test. Yep.
This side, one of these tables.
Hey, Will, we're good. I see it right there. Okay, before we can use the one
Can't have a meeting without an American flag.
Titled though.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming to our October 12th meeting of the Taxpayers Association of Indian River County. I'd like to thank the wonderful staff and management of Captain Hirons for graciously hosting us again this year for this important event. And I'm very thankful for the continued partnership with Andy and Tina and Sebastian Daly for their assistance in promoting this and providing live coverage. Hopefully, if the Wi-Fi works, for our Sebastian City Council candidate forum again this year. Before we start, I'd like to ask Mayor Joel Tyson to lead us in the invocation, please.
Let's pray. Divine gracious God, we come to you again, thanking you for the privilege that we come together and discuss the business of our association. Today we come to you with heavy hearts, Lord. Our world is in a mess. Our country is in a mess. But Lord, only you, I think, would be powerful enough to straighten this out for us. We come to you begging, Lord, to take control. We find our country is without leadership, basically, in all things to our country. We have people up there that we sent to straighten that mess out, and all we do is go up and argue and talk about things that are not even important. We're bickering, they won't work across the aisle with each other. We ask you, Lord, that you would touch their hearts and do the job that we sent them up there to do. Turn us to being truly one nation under God. Today also we pray for our schools. Our schools are in a mess. Lord, our children are being taught things that are totally irrelevant to their age group. We ask that you would be with our teachers, be with the administrators, and the parents. And above all, Lord, be with our children. These are our future leaders. We ask that you would bless our country, help us to get through this crisis. And maybe with the oncoming election, we will be some people up there who will be truly leaders for our future. We ask these things in your precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen. And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And before we have the Sebastian City Council candidates introduce themselves with their 2-minute opening statements, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the elected officials and other candidates that are with us today. Of course, we have our wonderful Mayor, Joel Tyson. Mayor, thank you for coming. I didn't see him walk in yet, but I know he was on the RSVP list. Did Sheriff Flowers make it in? Not yet, he might be running a little bit late. Indian River County Clerk of Court, Ryan Butler's with us today. Indian River County Commissioner Joe Flesher. Indian River County Commissioner Laura Moss. Indian River County Tax Collector Carol Jean Jordan. Our Supervisor of Elections Leslie Swan. And candidate for Indian River County Commission District 5 Tracy Zudans. And while he's not an elected official or a true candidate, he's a candidate for Best New Dad of the Year. Will Collins, everybody. Just these are the other elected officials or candidates that are running for office. It's been a little hectic this morning. I think I got everybody. Okay. So we've got 6 candidates running for 3 seats in this election. The candidates are Damien H. Gilliams, Damien L. Jr. Gilliams, incumbent Mayor Fred Jones, Sherrie Matthews, incumbent Councilmember Bob McPartlan, and incumbent Councilmember Christopher Nunn. All candidates are going to have 2 minutes to make their opening statements and a maximum time of 2 minutes to answer the questions we prepared. Some of those questions came from folks that reached out to Andy and Sebastian daily. Some were from our members and some from my own noggin. So we'll give each candidate 2 minutes also to make their closing statements. Candidates, please keep an eye out on the yellow and red time cards. We'll give you a yellow 30-second warning and then hold up the red when your 2 minutes is expired. Okay. We'll start with opening statements in the following order. And Damien, you don't mind if I go with Junior and Damien just for first names? Keep it simple. Okay. Perfect. So we're going to start with Damien. Then we'll circle back to Junior, Fred, Sherrie, Bob, and Chris for the 2-minute opening statements. Damien, you can kick us off.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, it's okay. I can project. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This is important. Elections are important. All right, here we go. It's on. I like singing karaoke. Anyway, thank you for all being here. I think it's important that everybody gets involved with the elections. As you know, last year, we got like 25,000 people living in Sebastian. Only 10% showed up to the polls. My job today is to define the 3 incumbents and the job that they've done in 2 years. And you have to ask yourself that question. Are you happy with what they've done in the past 2 years and you want to move forward the next 2 years with the same people, or do you want change? Do you want to see strategic planning? Do you want to see hold people accountable? Do you check all the boxes that they've done the right thing for you guys? So today it's about getting people involved. As you know, they didn't give me a nameplate because they didn't expect me. I didn't expect me, but I'm here. I just want to tell Ryan Butler, no hard grudges, Ryan. I know that, Ryan, you brought the charges against me, but I'm a very forgiving person and I'm okay with it. So it's part of the process, so I'm okay with that. Sebastian's a beautiful area. I've been here 40 years. I raised 3 kids, 3 engineers. They participated in IB International Baccalaureate. They all went to University of Florida. I am not a bad dad, and I'm damn not a bad politician. Charges were brought against me. I fought them. I lost. As you all know, Florida Supreme Court did not take my petition for hearing my case. I'm going to have to go do some time. But I'm willing to do the time for the community. I'm all right with that. I'm a public servant. There's a lot of mental health issues in the correction facility. I'm sure as a trustee, I was already there. They revoked my bond illegally. I'm going to serve this community. I'm not going anywhere. I love this community. Thank you very much to the organizations, Andy, Tina, and the taxpayers.
Thank you for that. Can you guys hear me all right in the back? My name is Damien Jr. I've been born and raised here. I was born in 1992 in Melbourne Hospital. I was brought right back to Sebastian. I spent my whole life here. I had my first kiss on Barber Street. When I was 10 years old, I jumped off the dock at Tiki Bar to pull out a Game Boy out of the water. My 16th birthday was at Mulligan's. If there's anybody that's more qualified for this job that's been there their entire life, it's me. I'm only up here today because I care. You think I really want to be here with all you guys here today? I don't. I really don't. I don't think you guys want me to be here at all, to be honest, but I'm here. I'm here because I care about Sebastian. I'm here because I grew up here. I'm here because I think you guys are doing things backwards. I'm here because I look at the budget. I'm here because I actually care, and you guys are doing things wrong. And I'm up here tonight because none of you, the people here in the crowd tonight and the people online, none of you signed up for city council. For $61 and 1 year of residence, you could be up here with us. And you could speak your mind, and you could speak your opinion. You could talk about what you care about in this community. And these guys don't care because they're taking your money. You have a $58 million budget every single year, and they spend it on themselves. They spend it on City Hall. They spend it on new garages. They spend money like you wouldn't believe, $58 million, and it doesn't go to our community.
It doesn't go to our citizens. We don't see it. So I'm here today because you guys failed, because none of you are up here. Do you think I really want to be here? Come on. This sucks. Really? Come on. None of you guys want me to be here. Come on. Really? Yeah, yellow flag. Come on. I want you guys to run next year. 2,600 people voted last year. Nobody votes in Sebastian. Nobody pays attention. At least you guys are here. Come on. Thank you. Do I have 30 seconds? Fred doesn't think this is a fishing village anymore. He told me himself on the docks that we don't repair. He doesn't think it's a fishing village. Here you go, Fred.
Thank you very much, and thank all of you all for being here. My name is Fred Jones. I'm currently the mayor of Sebastian. I've been on council for 3 years, and I can tell you that I am totally invested in the city of Sebastian. My wife and I raised our kids here. They're now grown and gone. I participate in just about every single event that happens within the city of Sebastian, also in the county as well. So, you know, when I look at this thing, I look at it as Sebastian as a team, and we are all a part of that team. I'm a part of that team, so everything that I do is for our team here in Sebastian. So thank you for being here, and vote Fred Jones for re-election this November.
Vote Fred Jones.
Good afternoon. Thank you everyone for showing up. I'm Sherrie Matthews, and I appreciate everybody being here. I was born and raised in the area. I've been here almost 50 years. My husband was born and raised in the area. We're invested in this community. We have been for many years. My sons were born and raised here. I'm also very invested in the city as to the issues that are at hand. I've been attending all the city commission or the city council meetings for over 3 years now, staying invested with the issues. I can begin from day one and start running and take off on election day. I ask that you vote for Sherrie Matthews on November 7th. Thank you.
I was waiting for the cue. All right, well, good afternoon. My name is Bob McPartlan. I'm running for city council. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and at a young age, my mother got me involved in service, what you should do for others. And when I turned 18, she called the United States Army, and they came and they took me away for a few years. I was in the Army's bomb squad, and bombs are very easy. You go down there, you take them apart and they're safe, or you blow them up and they're safe. But after the Army, I got involved with the Department of Children and Families, working with families that are unlike you or I, that are stuck in poverty, and they're also the equivalent of a ticking time bomb. So I used to get involved to see what makes them tick and make sure that they don't go off, and providing services. And I do work with the philanthropic community. I'm on multiple Children's Services Council. I know some people are opposed to the government spending money for children's services, but money spent early can save you so much money later. Those children don't become involved. But as far as the city council is not involved in any of that, I feel I have a 12-year record. I'm very proud of my 12-year record. I'm accessible. I will talk to anybody. I'm a great steward of the taxpayer money. I understand that. And when there is a problem, I do hold people accountable for that. And I'm not afraid to call people out and do that. So hopefully November 7th, you consider me, or if you're early voted, I hope you put my name down. Again, Bob McPartlan. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chris Nunn, obviously running for re-election for Sebastian City Council. I've lived here for over 25 years in Sebastian. I've lived in the area for my entire life. Moved from Syracuse, New York when I was 1 year old. When I turned 18, I joined the Navy. I spent 6 years riding around in submarines with other people that weren't scared of closed-in spaces, and got out. I moved here back to Sebastian with my kids. I participated in Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, was a leader in those organizations for almost 12 years. I raised all my kids here. All 7 kids have been raised here in the city of Sebastian. I love this place. I love this city. I remember when the playground used to have a wood, get splinters in your fingers playground there at Creative Park. I've been here a long time. I love what we do here. I believe that you make decisions. Sometimes they don't make everybody happy, but sometimes you have to make hard decisions. Sometimes you have to make a decision that might make a few people unhappy. I think I've made one of those this year that made a few unhappy, but doing what's best, doing what's right, whether it's hard or not, is still the right decision. So I'm here. I'm going to continue doing what I do. I serve on the Tourism Development Council for Indian River County. I serve on the Affordable Housing Committee with Indian River County. I also serve on the Sebastian River Chamber of Commerce committee as well. I love everything here. I love working for this city. I spend a lot of hours going and researching things, trying to find out the best way to do things. Very happy with my accomplishments over the past 3 years. I would like to continue doing that for the next 2 years and working as hard as I always have for this city. Yes, I have a full-time job that I work during the day, but I'd spend much of that time working as well for the people of Sebastian. Thank you. On November 7th, if you can re-elect Chris Nunn for Sebastian City Council. Thank you.
Thank you all. Fred, you'll be up first on this first question, followed by Sherrie, Bob, Chris, Damien, and Junior. What actions have you taken, or what do you believe should be implemented to ensure that the Sebastian Police Department is fully staffed? Do you believe the rest of the departments for the city are appropriately staffed currently?
So we've had some staffing issues over the years, and a lot of that is due to funding. We've gone to rollback for many years. This time we've had to step up. We've had to increase the salaries for our starting police officers. We've also increased the salaries of our employees at City Hall so that we can retain those members that have institutional knowledge and not lose them to another city or another agency because we cannot pay them. So those are some of the things that we have done and that I've been a part of, is increasing those salaries so that we can keep those employees. We have valued employees, and we need to continue, and I believe we will continue to recruit more employees with the current salary increases that we've voted on and approved. So I think we're in a good position now. We haven't been, but I think going forward, as long as we continue doing the things that we're doing, we will be able to increase all of the departments and maintain those employees by having those pay raises for them. That's sorely needed for many years.
Thank you, Fred. And Sherrie? What actions have you taken, or do you believe should be implemented to ensure that the Sebastian Police Department is fully staffed? And do you believe the rest of the departments for the city are appropriately staffed now?
First off, one of the things is the city budget is 75% of our budget, the employees. That's their benefit and their salary. And if 75% of our budget is employed, then that's who we should be taking care of, and that's who we should be focusing on. I do think that there has been some great strides in moving forward in taking care of, with the incentive pays going up, with the base salaries going up, and being in comparison with along the community areas and the Treasure Coast. We are losing those the people with a lot of knowledge. Yes, you can replace somebody with a stroke of a pen, but you cannot replace 20 years of knowledge with a stroke of a pen. And that's what we need to do. Some of the forward steps we've done is we have a new management, we have new city manager, the morale is increasing. We need to look at other things and listen to these people, listen to why they're wanting to leave. Sometimes it's not just the pay, but we need to value the people. They're 75% of our budget. They need to know that they're valued. They need to know that they are a part of the problems, a part of the solutions, and a part of moving forward. And as soon as they feel as though they are a part of a team, then they're going to stay.
Thank you, Sherrie.
Jordan, could you repeat the question?
What actions have you taken, or do you believe should be implemented to ensure that the Sebastian Police Department is fully staffed? And do you believe the rest of the departments for the city are appropriately staffed now?
Okay, great. Well, I'm one of 5 that goes up there and makes decisions. The city manager runs the city. The chief of police runs his police department. Now, what we did as a city, we had a salary study done from every employee from the top all the way down to the bottom, because we wanted to implement, and we got to raise some people up. Because for an example, the state, it used to be every open position, there were 37 applications that were submitted. Now it's down to 13 applications submitted for every open position. So the police in our city are not the only people that are chasing employees. Sometimes today it seems some employees will leave just for a quarter. Where they're going. But I believe as Sherrie mentioned, there is new management in the system. And I think there is a breath of fresh air, and communication is a lot better. And it's flowing from the top to the bottom, whereas before it was just stuck at the top and nobody at the bottom knew what was going on. Mr. Benton came in, and one of the things that really made him shine is the department that he ran, which was the Parks and Rec and Leisure Services. Everybody knew what was going on in the city. From the bottom guy all the way up, spoke very highly of him. When you go to the other departments, the bottom guys didn't know. Sometimes it was just passed off. There was no communication. And when there's no communication, chaos happens. So I think with the new management, you're going to see over time, and I don't want to say we're going to have to bump salaries, because that's not necessarily the answer. Because if we raise the pay, then they come from the sheriffs to us or from Vero Beach. So we've got to try and keep it even, and I believe in pay based on merit. If you have a good employee with a very good evaluation, they should get a raise. Not everybody gets a raise. It's like participation awards. Everybody gets a trophy. I'm not a proponent of that, but pay based on merit. Thank you.
Yes.
2.5 years ago, I pushed to get a salary survey done because I knew we needed to fix our employee problems. That finally got done late last year. It finally went through and was pushed through both unions and done. This year, we saw there's still a problem. The problem was the salary survey was already 3 years old. It was behind. Cost increases went so much in that past 3 years that our employees were already behind the 8 ball. This year, we approved as a council an amazing package to fix our pay problems. Our starting police officers' pays and other pays are equal within Indian River County and other surrounding cities. We did the best we could do to fix a problem that has resulted from many years of rollback taxes. As a new council member, everybody told us, you don't want to pay more taxes. Hey, I don't want to pay more taxes, but realizing that we weren't doing what was best for Sebastian if we're not putting the money we need to help with infrastructure. So yes, our employees and our police officers are the most important people, because if we don't have them and they're not happy and successful, they're not keeping our city happy and successful, because the city does not run without them. They maintain our streets, they maintain our swales, some of them. They maintain our ditches, they maintain everything that we work with every day, our parks. So taking care of them is the most important thing. I do agree, we have a new city manager who's doing an amazing job. He's always been an amazing person, even when I dealt with him as a Parks and Rec director. So knowing him as the city manager was the perfect answer, because people did respect who he was. He had an amazing open communication policy. I think Bob said it best. Without great communication, you don't have what you need. And he is the answer for what we needed for Sebastian.
And Damien?
Testing? Okay. So, Mr. Nunn, real estate taxes have gone up tremendously in the past 5 years. Everybody owns real estate in this place. I'm sure everybody's got a mortgage. They squandered the money. It was fleecing. 75% of our budget is public safety. They failed. They did not follow their strategic plan. I bought Mr. Nunn's checkoff list for giving the city manager an increase. I wanted to fire that guy the first time I got in, but I'm going to jail instead. That's the God's honest truth. The guy was uneducated. He was not qualified. Human resources, if you look at the application, says you got to have a degree in administration. The guy had no degree. He had a degree in fleecing Sebastian. He got his boys over from the West Coast. They got them $9 million garage that I budgeted $3.5 million. Excuse me. Let's show respect. So, this is fact. Go check the budget. Go get a copy of the checks that were written out on that garage. It's $9.2 million. So, Mr. Nunn, I said in the beginning I was going to define your job for 2 years. You failed. Sherrie, I got to give you a lot of credit. You're paying attention. You're watching the budget. You're paying attention. And if I had to vote today, Sherrie, I would vote for you. I know I'm not going to get elected, but you know what? I showed up here today to tell other people that you and Bob McPartlan and my son Damien are good people, and you will look out for the community. So 33% of the public safety employees left the town. I'm the only businessman up here, and so is my son. We're the only ones that have businesses. We understand retention of employees. You got to retrain them constantly. You don't want to be retraining your police officers. You want affordable housing so that they can stay here. So you want to start from the beginning and give them a good salary. You don't want to change. It was nice to see that they got accredited. I'm going to give you credit for that. But read Bob McPartlan's evaluation of the city manager. He nailed it. He nailed it.
And that's your time. Thank you. And Junior.
Can you guys hear me in the back? Would you mind repeating the question for everybody that just listened to all of that? Thank you.
What actions have you taken or do you believe should be implemented to ensure that the Sebastian Police Department is fully staffed? And do you believe the rest of the departments for the city are appropriately staffed now?
I don't think the city is appropriately staffed. I think our police department is not appropriately staffed. I don't know about you guys, but I make quite a few calls at 2 o'clock in the morning to the police department. They're excellent. The police department is excellent. They take great care of, I don't know exactly who's in the crowd tonight. I don't know if there are any business owners here in the community, they're out in the crowd. But as a business owner, when I call Sebastian PD, they show up and they do a damn good job. And they help me with whatever problem I may have. And as a bar owner, as a bar manager, that's huge. I live in this community. I manage a business in this community. I don't think these guys know how to run a business. Your waste management contract shows that. 75% of your budget. Do you know how much your budget is? Can somebody shout out how much the budget is, please? Just how many millions of dollars? Somebody. $57 million. $57 million is what you guys spend every single year in this community. And it's not spent appropriately. And you know that. It's spent on degraded, the city allows properties to degrade so they can repair them. So they have an excuse for dumping more of your taxpayers' money into city assets that you as a community have no access to. So as far as the police department, we need to staff up. We're losing our officers. They're not getting paid enough. They're going to other communities. Just like all of our businesses that are going to other communities because Sebastian doesn't support them. Just like all of our residents that can't afford housing that are going to other communities for jobs. You guys are not supporting your community. And $57 million is going to waste every single year. And I'm not done with that. I got the budget in front of me. I don't see a single person up here with the budget in front of them, but I got it in front of me, and I'm going to tell you what you're spending your money on today. And it's not good. It's not good because your grandchildren and your children are not going to enjoy the same upbringing that I had. They won't.
Thank you, Junior. For the next question, Sherrie, you'll be up first, followed by Bob, Chris, Damien, Junior, and Fred. With the recent annexation of the Graves Brothers land and other projects on the docket, such as Royal Oaks Preserve, among others, what are the most important factors the City Council should take into account to manage growth in Sebastian?
My biggest focus on managed growth is being focused on the growth and what we're doing, to be focused on the actual planning and how we're developing, making sure that the infrastructures can handle that type of growth. We have the annexation, we have this River Oak project that's in play right now. There's several others. There was an apartment community off of Louisiana that they were wanting to do. Staying focused on this growth, it's not that we're not going to grow. It's inevitable, it's going to happen whether we're involved or not. But maintaining our focus, making sure that we have the planned growth that handles the infrastructures of that community and what they're asking for, those are the important factors. To make sure that the roads that they're trying to bring in are going to work as the roadway that they're trying to develop, whether it becomes a main artery or not. There's some issues right now with one that is just not going to be able to handle, and City Council did well just recently on River Oak with Shakespeare, and at least stopping part of that from becoming a through artery between Periwinkle and 510. Those are the types of things. We have to stay focused. We have to have a plan. We have to collaborate with the entire community in Indian River County, because there are things that the city of Sebastian will have to work with the county and the commissioners and the experts in those fields and area in order to bring in. And it's important that we do that.
All right, growth. I moved here in 2000. I started my career with the department in Palm Bay in 2001. At that time, Palm Bay and Sebastian we're roughly the same. Population-wise and everything, you look at Palm Bay now, it's nowhere recognizable. I think they're in the top 10 for cities of population-wise compared to Sebastian. I've been on council 12 years. I think we have done growth at slowly. I got voted off when we did the first annexation of the property, and there was a lot of misinformation that was out there. Then when I got voted back in after the recall and the annexation came back to us and it was double the size, I said, let's go slow. Let's take our time. Let's have a couple of workshops. Let's invite the county. Let's invite the environmentalists. Let's get to hear everybody vent it out, because I remember the first annexation, the first time when it went through and then it failed because of a map, wrong map being implemented, there was 63 people who came up to speak against the project. 63, only 4 supported at that time. The last time when we voted through the annexation, less than 10 people came up for comment. And actually, more than half of them supported the annexation because we had taken the time to explain the project. To me, we were talking about these future developments here. I think the developer may want to meet some of their neighbors who were next door, try and get what are their thoughts on these projects before it comes to the council, because we don't want to play like a parent, oh, bad developer, don't worry, neighbor. But I believe taking our time and inviting the public, and I hope that the public that came out last night, I hope there's those sizes of people every single meeting, because an involved city is a better city.
Annexation is important. Why is annexation important? Because if people are going to build, the only way you can benefit or control it is annex it. It can still be built like Liberty Park right outside of our back door that we have no control over, no say in, no financial benefit from. The only thing we're going to get is all the people shopping in our stores. So annexation is the only way to do that. Now, other developments within Sebastian, like River Oaks. You know, if you're going to build a house, would you go to the next door neighbor and say, hey, what kind of house do you think I would build? What color do you think I should paint it? What kind of house? How many bedrooms do you think I should have in my house? How big of a garage? Well, how big of a driveway? Are you going to do that? No, you're going to build the house you want to build. Private property rights are such an important thing. And you know, we may not like when developments come in that own property, but they own the property. They have a right to do it by the law, by the code, the land development code, by the comprehensive plan. If they're building that by the law and they're doing it right, and they're not asking for a bunch of exceptions and a bunch of variances, a lawsuit's all that's going to come if we turn it down. And then the city's going to fight it and lose it, kind of like a concrete plant that the county tried to fight at one time because they didn't want the concrete plant. They didn't like it. So sometimes these things are hard decisions. You have to do the best you can do. With the River Oaks Preserves, we listened to the people. We controlled the things we could control in that by not connecting a through street, by not dumping those people out into a neighborhood that was kind of their own little paradise back there, mostly one-way roads. We didn't want to see that go through. Those are things we can control. Those are things we can have a say in. As far as what's built by the law is very specific in what's allowed to be done. So what you do is you keep it as minimal as possible, you control it as much as possible, you make sure it meets the requirements of the city, and you move forward. Growth is inevitable, but the best we can do is make sure it meets all the legal requirements.
So I have Bob McPartlan's evaluation of the city manager, page 10 of 11, relations with other governments. So if you're going to do an annexation and the other government has your utilities, you got to meet with them. They failed. But Mr. Nunn gave our city manager, who ran out of town with all the money on the garage, 5% raise. Really? Come on now. You got to pay attention, man. If you're a businessman, you know, you don't give somebody a 5% raise when they're not meeting with the county to help get infrastructure for water and sewer into the community. Page 10 of 11, 11 of 11. This is great. Bob McPartlan, you got my vote, man. I hate to say that, but you know what? You've earned it. You really, and I'm a tough guy. I really am. I mean it. So, as far as the annexation goes, management growth, Nunn, Fred, you failed. City manager, ran out of town, took the money with his contractors. We did not get the sewer infrastructure we needed to get from the county. There's $40 million, ask Joe Fletcher, in the reserve. Joe knows, utilities department. I checked it out, over 40 million now. Put that money to work. Let's get sewer to septic. As a business, I can't get it in front of my property, but they want me to hook up. I hired an engineer. He goes, you got no sewer. What do you mean I got no sewer? I got a letter saying you're not part of phase 1 and 2. So how do I hook up? So they failed. Audubon Society, Sebastian Friends of the River, you need to get them involved. You won't get sued and they're wasting taxpayers' money. If you get everybody involved and everybody can agree on something, we can move forward and have annexations that work for everybody. Affordable housing, the comp plan. Don't give these guys a second chance. It's time to say the status quo has got to go. It's that simple. We love these guys. They served the community. They served it too long. Fred is the biggest collector of contributions from developers. Get his financials.
That's 2 minutes. Keep it on.
$11,000.
All right, and Junior.
May I? Thank you. Could you please repeat the question for the audience? Also, I have people messaging me that the senior and I, our volume is not loud. I don't know if there's an audio tech in the back that's turning our volume down, but please do not turn our volume down. Okay, good, thank you. I want to make sure you guys hear me in the back. I know there's a lot of hearing aids out there tonight, so I want to make sure everybody's on the same page with me. Yeah, just want to make sure you can hear me. Could you please repeat the question?
The question was, with the recent annexation of the Graves Brothers land and other projects on the docket, such as the Royal Oaks Preserve, among others, what are the most important factors the City Council should take into account to manage growth in Sebastian?
This is so easy, and these guys all failed, including my dad. Back to back, they all failed. What a bunch of jokers, man. You talking about bringing people into Sebastian, what's it going to do to our river? What's it going to do to our lagoon? What about the runoff? What about our environment? What about the animals that you're going to displace when you build all these properties? What about the turtles? What about the people, the animals that were here before all of you people? Before you guys showed up, like me? Who was here first? The animals were, and you guys are not taking care of them. And none of these guys care, because none of them even mentioned a turtle or a scrub jay or a preserve. Environment, growing the growth. Yeah, you know what? I think it's a great idea. Let's annex Sebastian in. I'm moving out of here eventually. You guys are screwing this place up. Let's annex everything in. Annex it all in. Let's give them everything. Let's give them all. No preserves, no green area. It's a joke, man. What are you guys doing? Are you paying attention? They talk about private property rights. They charge businesses on the CRA $350 just to change their sign. That doesn't include the vinyl. That doesn't include the $1,200 to have the lighting company come out and fix your equipment. This city is not for us. Come on, guys. Are you paying attention? I don't think you are. Growth, let's make it bigger. You got 27,000 people that live in this area. 10% of you show up to vote. Yeah, let's grow it so maybe we got some real voters in this town, because you guys aren't paying attention, man. Clap or not, I don't give a shit.
I assure you the mic is working just fine. Fred, your response.
Yeah, thank you. It's difficult to follow that, but what I can tell you as far as annexation of properties and stuff like that, it was very important for us as a city to work with the county. We do not have our own water utilities and septic here, so we've had to work with the county to make sure that those services can be provided. So I know, and I've worked with this, I've worked with the county commission. We actually had a meeting where we all came together, a joint meeting between the county commission and the city council to talk about these very same issues. That had not happened before. But I, along with Joe Ehrman and the rest of the county commission and our council here who agreed to have that meeting, we facilitated that and it worked out well. So we really need to, as far as annexation and any of these other projects, we need to continue to work with our partners at the county, like I said, because we do not have our own water utilities here. So our biggest thing is to continue to working with them and to make sure when development comes in and when they want to build something that we stay on top of that, read and see what's going on to make sure that we're making the right decisions for the city of Sebastian and Indian River County as a whole to be able to protect what we have here. And the only way we can do that is to continue to work with our partners here locally. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. You'll be up first on the next question, followed by Chris, Damien, Jr. You guys are getting the flow. So, word on the street is there's talk of potentially increasing the stormwater fee another $2 per lot in the near future. Can you provide an overview of how the current stormwater fees are spent? If you had to give the city a grade, A+ through F, on how they've handled stormwater and drainage in 2023, what would it be and why? What needs to be done to improve?
Great. Stormwater's been a problem, I think, ever since they started development here. Are we on?
Yeah.
Okay, there it goes. Stormwater's been a problem in Sebastian ever since Sebastian was incorporated. You know, we worked on it. Going on 2.5 years ago, I voted for a plan. It's supposed to be the Stormwater Master Plan to end all master plans. And I said, you get my vote on this. But that means when this plan gets here, it might be a 10-year plan. It might actually take us 40 years to do it, because you can't start at step 3 because it's cheaper. You got to start at step 1. And I understand it might be in the tens of millions of dollars. So I gave my vote for that. What's happened, we haven't gotten the finalized plan. And I'm under the impression, being told, it's not even what I was led to believe it was. So I would have to say that the plan, the best I can give it is a D. But we do have guys that are in stormwater that are working their tails off for the city. They're doing as much as they can. We just approved last night a company that's going to come in and cut the swales and make sure they're pitched the right way so we can do it. It's a long process every time it rains. I mean, we had almost 6 inches of rain the other weekend. You know, we're only, I believe it's 7 feet above sea level. I think we've gotten probably 3 feet of rain in the past couple of months. It can't percolate down. So there are problems within the city. Another thing with the stormwater that people don't understand, that's the homeowner's responsibility. No matter how long I say it, if I mail them a thing, they still think it's the city's responsibility, the swale. No, the swale is the homeowner's responsibility. It's probably going to have to be increased, but to try and make it the best, that's what we're going to have to do. But I would give it a D on the past management. But again, like I said, Brian Benton is the new management, and he's leading the organization, and I think it'll be better.
So we're talking about the stormwater fees itself. We're talking about stormwater. 10 years ago, I lived on the corner of Rolling Hill and County, and I had water in my swale for 6 months out of the year, without a doubt. Water sat and sat and sat. Over the past year, when it's rained really hard, like the day before Hurricane Ian and a couple weeks ago, yes, with 6 inches of rain coming down in an already drenched city, we backed up water really bad for an hour or 2. By 4 hours later, the streets were empty, the water was in the swales where it belonged. Our stormwater crews have done an amazing job at getting what they're working with to work as best it can. There's still things to do. You know, you can't tell how a city drains until you get a rainstorm like that. The city manager and the stormwater manager and the public works director were driving around during that rainstorm, looking for problems, looking for situations to see what was going on, looking for blockages. They cleared 3 blockages that day. They looked at other things and said they weren't draining properly. No, I think we have an amazing crew doing an amazing job. Do we still have some things to fix? We do. Will we ever not have water sitting on a road when it rains 6 inches in an already drenched city? Never. It'll never happen because it's not, the system's not designed to take water away instantly. Especially if you drive to the Sebastian River and water's going over the dam, because there's been so much rain happening. But I think our system's doing an amazing job. We do need the extra 2% because our stormwater fee is in the negative right now. They do need the money to buy more equipment, to do more things. This plan that we just signed last night to maintain the swales and the culverts and all those things on roads that have just been paved, that's a great thing because that needs to happen. That wasn't happening the past couple of years. That part of it was put on hold. So I'm glad that this is moving forward. Thank you.
Mr. Nunn, let me correct you. page 9 of 11, Bob McPartlan's report from the city manager. I'll read it to you. Next month, we will mark 2 years since the city agreed to spend over $700,000 for a stormwater master plan. To the best of my knowledge, the city has received partial draft, which is going back and forth to fight with the city engineer. Again, this is a 2 years for $700,000. By the way, they had 5 studies done before this. Did you hear me? 5. Mrs. Sherrie, you brought that up at the last time we ran. Why aren't we just fixing based on the study that we have already done? These guys, again, are not paying attention. He's got a full-time job. He doesn't have time to pay attention to it. This is your city manager. This is the city manager that I wanted to fire from day one when I got up there because I knew he was incompetent. Right here, read his report. It's very clear. So grade F, they failed, period. And by the way, it wasn't 6 to 8 inches. It's 2 inches. New York had 8 inches. You had to see the floods they had with 8 inches of rain. So they're having a hard time comprehending rainstorms. Bottom line is, goes back to strategic planning, making sure that you're paying attention, watching the ball, making sure that, I wanted to go to that RFB, request for bids. The police had to be called because the city manager says, you can't go in there, it's a private party. I said, what do you mean? I want to watch them bid on this. He goes, no. Ex-Officer Hart, I was there, they wouldn't let me in. I said, I wanted to observe on behalf of the taxpayers on this big contract that you're giving to your friends that never got completed. On your watch, on Fred's watch, you guys have to pay. You need to go. The status quo's got to go. It's that simple. Pay attention. Now, if you don't go out and tell 20, 30 people on social media, then everybody in here today is to blame too, because you're not getting the word out. Andy's not going to get the word out in Tina because everybody, they're advertising on his blog. It's not a newspaper. They're both all advertising because Andy wants to see him get in.
Thank you, Dan.
I don't mind taking the punches.
That's 2. All right, and Junior.
Stormwater drainage. Once again, how many people up here? 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. There's a lot of people up here, man. Nobody mentioned the environment. Stormwater drainage, where does it go? All leads to the lagoon. Most of you guys don't know that, maybe because you didn't go to ELC as a child and go play with the turtles and go see what kind of environment we had 20 years ago. As a kid, we would eat chicken dinner one night and we'd have crabs the next night. 2 years ago, I came here and I sat with you guys and I talked about the same thing, stormwater. Guess what? They're doing another master plan. They still haven't figured it out. They're not thinking about 30, 40 years in advance. They just want to spend your money. Another $750,000. It's a lot of money. I'd like to see any one of you people in this room put up $750,000 to do another stormwater master plan.
Hey, D, pesticide.
Pesticides. Oh, pesticides. Yeah, let's spray some pesticides into our parks. Let's let them go out to the lagoon. It's a great idea, right? There's no fish left. There's no crabs left. I used to go oyster clamming. I used to go get clams and oysters off those docks there at the Indian River Drive. As a child, I'd walk out there with a bucket and come out with a thing of clams, a thing of oysters. You don't have that anymore. My grandkids won't get to enjoy that because you guys are not maintaining your stormwater the way you need to. Now, guess what? The water level's rising. The ice caps are melting. Are you guys planning for it? Probably not. You know, you got these hurricanes that are coming in, you know, time after next. And you know what? I got to give Chris Nunn a little bit of credit. I don't dislike him that much. I do at least see him online talking to people, trying to figure out where the problems are and where he can try and, you know, I give him a little bit of credit. These guys, I don't see them out there doing anything. But you know what? Once again, I just want to point out, these guys don't care about the environment. And they're probably going to talk about it a little bit more now that I mentioned it twice. You'd think they would have picked up on this one. Stormwater. All of your guys, when you park your trucks in your yard, you park your boats, you park everything that you got in your yard, it's going out to that lagoon, and it's killing our fish. And I'm one of the people that go out on those docks and I fish. And I try to eat them. Not anymore. I'd like my kids to eat those fish. I'd like my kids to eat those crabs. I'd like my kids to eat those clams and oysters.
That's 2.
Thank you.
All right, and Fred.
Thank you. Could you repeat the question, please?
Yep. Rumor has it there's talk of potentially increasing the stormwater fee another $2 per lot in the near future. Could you provide an overview of how the current stormwater fees are spent? And if you had to give the city a grade, A through F, on how they've handled stormwater and drainage in 2023, what would it be and why? What do you feel needs to improve?
Well, we do have a stormwater issue here. We've always had one. I live on a street. I've been here since 1990. My street is always flooded. My swells are always full of water because of lots next to me. But do we have a stormwater issue here? Yes, we do. We have a stormwater master plan that should have been already in play right now, but due to current administration that we had before, we got Mr. Benton in there, things fell through the crack. But now we have Mr. Benton there and things are starting to look up. So our crews are out taking care of a lot of issues related to stormwater and swells. And as was said earlier, we voted last night, I think the day is Thursday or Wednesday, yeah, last night to have, when we do road improvements, to have a subcontractor come in and do the swell work so that it's done right. And we just don't have enough crews out there to do that. But the crews that we do have from Stormwater, they are doing an amazing job right now. If you drive around the city, and I drive around the city all the time, and I see them with these big tractors and these big ditches, and I'm thinking that they're getting overwhelmed with water. As a matter of fact, just the other day, I stopped by and looked at one down the canal, and I was like, hey, that tractor stuck? It's like, no, sir, it's fine. It looked like it was underwater, but they were digging out these big ditches and making sure that the water flows the way it's going to go, like it's supposed to go. So we are making progress. As far as the grade, I think we are probably a D and probably leaning more to an F until recently. But I think with our crews now, and we're pushing all these issues, that those things are going to move forward. And with our new city manager at the helm right now, leading this city, I think it's just going to improve greatly over the years. So we're looking forward to more progress as it relates to stormwater issues in our city. And I look forward to continuing to work with our city manager, pushing that, and our stormwater crews doing everything that they can to make sure the water flows away from our residents' homes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stormwater has been my passion because it is an issue. One of the things that several years that I've been watching the stormwater process and planning, and started back in the early 90s, 94, somewhere in that area. And every year, every time they would upgrade or do a master plan, they always made this little caveat in there that said, you have to follow our recommendations in order to move forward. Several years ago, I had a sheet that was from the 2018 stormwater master plan, or an upgrade of a master plan, and what they had given, it was a 22 line item at $24 million. So I asked the city, how many of these items have been accomplished, or how many have been finished, how many have been started? And this was in 2021. Of those items, 2 had been completed, 2 had been started and not finished, and everything else was waiting on grant or future. So I took that same sheet and I asked again, okay, where do we stand today or on this? There have been some improvements, there have been some things that have been done, however, they're still waiting on a lot of the different projects for grant money or future. On this, before we raise the money, before we raise the stormwater fees that we pay as a resident, I want to see where we are. We have a $700,000 plan that has not come into effect. We haven't seen it. We don't know what we're getting, what we're not getting. We have new management that is really working hard. I have to say, the other day I was going off of Easy Street, and there stood our new city manager, the director, Karen Miller, watching and helping the crews work in fixing a stormwater issue that was going on there. It was brilliant seeing it because it has laid dormant. So before we do this, we need to see what equipment we have, where we stand, what we've been spending the money on, and then move forward.
Thank you. Chris, you're up first, followed by Damien, and we'll circle back to this side of the table. As the population increases, homelessness in our community and the availability of affordable housing or workforce housing is a growing concern. What steps should be taken to reduce or address homelessness and affordable housing in Sebastian?
Well, that's a hard one. It really is. We all want to see our homeless be able to go someplace. We have organizations like The Source who try to help people get off the streets and get back into a job, back into a career where they can make money and move on to a house. Organizations like that do an awesome job. The Up Center and their organization, United for Poverty, they do a great thing because they have nonprofit dollars that they're working with. We're city taxpayers. So the question is, would you be willing to take $5 million from our taxes to build a homeless shelter that's going to require millions of dollars to support every year? It sounds wonderful. It sounds amazing, but it's not supportable. It's not supportable from a city government perspective. So what can we do to help homelessness? Well, we can start with affordable housing. We can start with housing that people can actually afford to live in, work here, live here. The apartment complex that was going to go on Louisiana, that was a good opportunity because it was going to bring some lower cost housing. The apartment complex that's going to be on US 1, north of Barber Street, that one's going to help with some of those things. We can't force builders to come to Sebastian to build things. Indian River County has a very hard time attracting what they consider a truly low-income, affordable housing to come to this county. They go to St. Lucie County constantly. The Affordable Housing Committee has a hard time getting them to come to our county. We can do our best. We have opportunities where we've worked with Habitat for Humanity to see what we can do. We have grants to help people to fix homes, which hopefully will keep them in homes. Not all homeless people end up homeless because they lost everything. Some are losing it gradually, and that's the next step. So offering programs to help fix and maintain the houses they have is probably the best first step to keep us moving towards avoiding homelessness if possible.
Thank you, Chris.
So when I got elected, I chose the Affordable Housing Committee. I was brought up in the projects. I understand affordable housing. I'm a real estate developer. I own real estate. And $5 million for homeless? Come on, Mr. Nunn. Really? First of all, you know, you had the two Restructuring Act and Inflation Act that Mr. Biden pushed through. Billions and billions of dollars came through all the states down to the counties. If you had a strategic plan sitting on the shelf with your comp plan, you would have been able to do some affordable housing, work with the bankers to do affordable mortgages. Mortgage rates are going up. They have no plan. They're flying off the seat of their pants. These guys don't know how to run a business. City should be run like a business. You have a budget. You have a cap plan. You know, I don't know. You get a budget. They don't follow the budget. CAFR, Certified Financial Analysis, done by their accountants. They move money around like you wouldn't believe. So I'm going to respectfully, but I tell you what, Fred, you can get it done because you got $11,000 from all developers. You know how to get things done because you're going to owe those guys. You're going to owe them more money. You're going to owe them favors, and you should be able to get affordable housing in this town. How about smart houses? How about tiny houses? How about, it doesn't have to be in the town taking down other real estate values, but we can go on the outskirts. We can go to the south where we're doing annexation. That was the time to negotiate annexation deals. You know, with the Graves brothers coming into town. Hey, by the way, how much affordable housing? They built a garage in Roseland and we're going south with development. These guys, they're not paying attention. So if you want workforce housing, Junior, he's looking to get a mortgage one day. I'm a mortgage guy. I think Bob will do a good job. I think Sherrie will do a good job. But the status quo, Fred's got to go, and so does Nunn. They both got to go. Status quo.
And Junior.
Riverview Park, probably where a lot of the homeless people go to hang out. We live right across the street at the No Name Sports Bar. We deal with a lot of homeless people. You know how we handle them? We give them a cheeseburger and a beer and we help them on their way. The city of Sebastian is not helping the homeless. We actually have a homeless guy last week that was arrested. He was arrested in Riverview Park for taking a nap in the middle of daylight. I guess you're not allowed to take a nap in the park in the middle of daylight. I shouldn't take my hammock over there. That's not allowed, right? We're not allowed to take naps in the park during the daylight. My friend Mike is in jail right now. He's in jail today as you guys are all sitting here enjoying your lunch and your drinks. By the way, can we get a bartender up here? These guys are getting thirsty. I know Bob's been talking a lot. Chris is talking a lot. We don't have any drinks up here, man. You know, some water would be nice. But, you know, we deal with a lot of homeless people over there, and we try our best to take care of them as leaders of the community, and we don't just shush them on the way. We take care of them. The city of Sebastian is not taking care of them. My friend Mike, Sebastian PD, a few days ago said, we don't like your kind around here. Don't come back to our park. We're going to arrest you. We're confiscating your bike. Good thing some of my regulars were able to take his bike because his bike would be confiscated down at Indian River County Sheriff's Department, and he would have to walk all the way to Vero from Sebastian to pick up his bicycle. So you guys are not taking care of your homeless. You're not making a plan for your homeless. You know, you're just not doing it. So talk about houses, right? Workforce housing. What about 3D printed houses?
What about taking some acreage and taking some space for some of the people that need it? The people that have been here for 30, 40 years that somehow maybe their house burned down. Maybe they just don't have ends meet and make a meet. You know, they just can't afford it anymore because they have to go outside of the community. They have to go to Vero. They have to go to Melbourne to make a living because Sebastian does not provide enough small businesses for them to survive. Sebastian likes to squash small businesses. We don't like to encourage small business. You know how many businesses have been in and out of that building next to Dunkin' Donuts, in and out of that building next to Lewis Family Auto? Constant. I've been here my whole life. I can tell you how many families have been in and out of those businesses, and they go outside of the community. They open up in Indian River County instead. There's my cue. Sorry.
Thank you. No problem.
They don't want the homeless here. They're sending them out of the city.
All right, and Fred?
Thank you, sir. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, as the population increases, homelessness in our community and the availability of affordable housing or workforce housing are a growing concern. What steps should be taken to reduce or address homelessness and affordable housing in Sebastian?
Well, I'm not really sure, but I can tell you this. You know, when you talk about workforce housing or attainable housing, to some, they think it's HUD housing or something like that. But what we really need is, and we have no control over that, developers, people that build homes and stuff like that, they have to build a house that can be afforded by working class citizens like waitresses, waiters, police officers, firefighters, teachers, seniors, young people. And the only way we can do that here in the city is that we can attempt to hopefully offer incentive to those builders to reduce some of those costs on those buildings so that they can make the price more affordable to the working class citizens. But beyond that, I don't know. And everybody, we talk about this a lot, but there's nobody that want any of that in their neighborhood, anything like that. So where do you put these homes when you build them? If it's not market value homes, you just can't put them anywhere. Nobody wants them in there. I'm sure if we tried to put those low-income homes in certain neighborhoods in a development, that we'd be overrun at City Hall during a meeting about that. But everybody talks about it. But one of the things, again, what we can do is offer incentive to those builders so that they can reduce the cost so that they can be affordable by working class Americans. So that's pretty much all I have on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. As the population increases, homelessness in our community and the availability of affordable housing or workforce housing are a growing concern. What steps should be taken to reduce or address homelessness and affordable housing in Sebastian?
I look at two different sections here. On the affordable housing, that is more for, I look at it as for our law enforcement, our nurses, our teachers, our other first responders, and I do believe that we should be able to come up with something. I know in the annexation plan of the Graves that there was a caveat in that plan that there will be some affordable housing. And why are we not taking care of the people that take care of us? We need to have something here. I understand in the real estate market that sometimes, you know, like's been set up here already, that you have market values, you have those types of things. Attainable is more in the dealing with more of the homeless and that type. We have so many organizations and nonprofits. You have your Camp Havens, your Sources. You have all these people that are out there working hard for the homeless and trying to get them. And what some people don't understand is a lot of times the homeless don't want to be helped. You know, and that's something that we need to also react to. We need to look at that. You know, it's really well to have these questions, but a lot of times they like exactly the way their life is and they don't want our help. So there are those things going on, but I am in favor of affordable housing because I do believe that we need to start looking at how are we going to keep our young here? How are we going to bring them back? You know, what do we offer to bring them back to our community, whether we're a resting community and they work elsewhere, but still bringing them back. But I do believe we need to take care of our teachers and our nurses and our first responders. Thank you.
I don't know if I got to talk fast or not. This is a complicated question that try and do in 2 minutes. There's a difference between your chronically homeless and people who need attainable, affordable workforce housing. Completely different. You know, I remember several years ago, there was a guy biking from Rhode Island all the way down to the Keys, and one of the homeless people stabbed them to death in Vero Beach. All of a sudden, it's like, we built this thing, it's got to go because all the homeless come here. So that's a difficult thing, not in my backyard. Habitat for Humanity, they just need land and they can build homes. Now that's for workforce housing, attainable, affordable housing. Because to go through their process is much more than you do going to get a mortgage on your own. And they also teach you the skills. One population you're not talking about is the seniors that are being priced out of their homes due to the rising cost of homeowners insurance, utility bills, and I don't even want to get into food. So that's a different aspect. One of the things that I reinitiated in the city was people who are over the age of 55. ARPA runs a program through the Department of Labor. So somebody who's on meeting about $1,800 a month, they could work for up to 19 hours a week, making minimum wage, and it doesn't affect their housing, state, or federal benefits to give them. Because I don't know about you, but when I come out of Publix or Winn-Dixie and I see the elderly collecting the carts, it just breaks my heart. And that's a population, because I have taken part in the point in time count, which happens at the end of January every year to count the homeless in the community. And the leading population that is rising is senior women. They counted 8 senior women under a bridge in St. Lucie County. That's not acceptable.
Good job, Brad. This will be my last question. Damien, you'll be up first, and then followed by Junior and down the road. Do you believe the recent increases to the city budget were necessary and justified? Our association promotes fiscal conservatism and limited government that focuses on the delivery of essential services. If elected, what steps would you take that would be in support of the Taxpayer Association's goals and ideals?
So I'm never for raising taxes, especially stormwater taxes. $2, I don't care if it's a penny. If you can't handle the money that you got in your budget and you're not spending it properly, I'm not in any way. I'm a fiscal conservative. I'm not for increasing taxes, especially when real estate values are going up and they raise the millage rate. Think about that. Millage rate, the assessments on your real estate's going up, more money coming in, and these guys are raising your millage rate. I'm sure everybody knows how the millage rate works. It's based on assessed value. So I would give the directors of each department a bonus, how to turn money in at the end of the year and stop spending. Because when you see the excessive spending that's going on in this community, there's a lot of money that can be saved. I'm frugal. I'm one of 11. I came up in the projects. I like to think I'm a successful businessman, not a successful politician, but I'm working at it, you know. But I do love this community, and I'm frugal. And it's not about the budget. It's about CAFRA, Certified Financial Analysis Report. When they move the money around, the capital expenses, right? These guys, you gotta watch the details. Nobody's paying attention, and they have a good financial guy, Mr. Ken Gilgore, but he follows their direction, and they failed. These guys failed, and there's no reason to raise the millage rate. They should be pulling back, and they should be balancing it out where you're paying the same taxes. They should not be raising your stormwater tax. It's more tax money. So, as I always say, the status quo has got to go. I vote for Damien, Bob, and Sherrie because I know nobody's going to vote for me. I get it. They'll change this town.
$58 million budget, right? What do you think Hiram's budget is per year? They got a pretty nice dock out here, don't they? How many slips do they have? Do you think they have 26 slips? You guys have 26 public slips that you guys haven't maintained for 3 years. Look at their ladders. Look at their docks. They don't have the budget that you guys have. $58 million. You guys have 2 docks down there that they're about to claim back. They're going to give them to law enforcement. They're not going to let our public. We can't park there now. I challenge you. Go put your boat in the water today. What a beautiful day, right? You run out of ice. You run out of bait. You want to go get some more bait? Where are you going to park your boat? You got 26 public slips right down there. They're taking them from you. You got a $58 million budget. Did you guys know you have a $1.25 million shooting range going in? Raise hands. Anybody know about a shooting range? Anybody reading the budget? I got the budget on the table over there. $1.25 million for an indoor shooting range, but we don't have money to take the barnacles off our dock. I called Fred Jones. I called him from our docks. And I said, Fred, I challenge you, bring your grandkids out here. Let them climb up these ladders. For 3 years, those have been degraded. 2 years ago, I sat here and told you that they were degraded. They're still degraded. You guys aren't paying attention to the $58 million budget. Pay attention.
Yeah, I like that.
Fred?
Can you repeat the question, please, sir?
Do you believe the recent increases to the city budget were necessary and justified? Our association promotes fiscal conservatism and limited government that focuses on the delivery of essential services. If elected, what steps would you take that would be in support of the Taxpayer Association's goals and ideals?
I think what we did was in support of your goals and ideas because we raised the millage rate slightly because we needed to do that. And as I stated earlier, we're losing employees, and the employee salary comes from the ad valorem taxes. So we had to increase the starting salaries for our police officers and our staff at City Hall. And I think it's one of those things that we pushed off for so long that it's now come to a head that we've been kicking the can down the road for so long, and that can finally hit a wall. And we had to do something about it, because if we didn't do something now, 3-4 years down the road, we may have had to increase that by 30 or 40% rather than 10%. So I believe we did the right thing. Do any of us, I know I don't look forward to raising taxes on anybody because it affects us too. It affects me. I live in this city. So I did not want to raise taxes, but it's something that we had to do, and it's a very minimal increase at 10%. I understand that everything else has gone up around the country, and here everything goes up for us individually as family members, as business owners. So, but the city is not exempt from that either. Products and services have gone up for us as well in the city. So it's one of those things that we had to do to keep from hitting our residents with a major increase a couple of years down the road. So I believe we are aligned with your goals. So thank you.
Thank you.
I also, of course, we all are taxpayers that most of us are, all of us sitting in this room. I don't want to see my taxes go up. I also don't want to see the other things, but there are things that we have to do. And because the millage rate has been a rollback for so many years and we haven't done anything to increase or to move forward, unfortunately, this millage rate increase has had to happen in order to maintain. Now, there are things that I think in coming futures that what we need to do, especially in next year's budget, we need to start looking and saying, okay, what can we do and where do we need to? And I think that we have a really good, again, we have a new city manager, and he is on top of things, he is promoting things, he's paying attention to things, and that's where we need the work. We need to, but we have to, again, we have 75% of our budget is our people. If we don't have the people, we don't have a city. We have to have people to help run and keep this city moving. So we have to pay attention to those, but yes, we are gonna need this increase. Unfortunately, nobody wants their taxes to go up, but I believe starting forward, moving forward from this one going forth, that I think we can be more fiscally accountable and fiscally responsible and prudent in what we do and the decisions that are made from this day forward.
I guess maybe they'll have to rename me Shrek, because I'm the ogre in the room. I'm the one who called for an increase over what was recommended because I saw the city was neglected over the last 5 years. I hate to say it. There was some mismanagement of money. Our roads have gone downhill. When we had a study done about 5 years ago, the rating on the roads was 77. We're at a 71 right now. 6 points may not seem like a lot, but that means the roads are deteriorating quicker. And if you don't get ahead of the curve, you'll never be able to play catch up. The cost of paving roads has gone up with the cost of everything else because petroleum's involved. When gas is $1 a gallon, $2 a gallon, as opposed to almost $4, that's the cost of the road. So you can only pave half of the road that you used to pave. So the cost of everything, as salaries have gone up. I believe in the new city manager. I believe he's going to be, well, I know I'll hold him accountable because I'm not afraid to hold people accountable. But I have great expectations for him. And he seems like he keeps his eye on the ball and is always forward thinking about what is the next thing we can do, how can we improve it, and working together with the engineer. And there's also some spots within the city that need to be hired. We're in search of planners, just like the county's in search of planners. You have to pay the people who are involved, and you want them to stay. So you got to pay a livable wage. We have to get what needs to be done. The roads need to be paved. I mean, nobody cares about the roads until it's the pothole that on the trip that you take every day. Those things need to be fixed, and unfortunately, we needed to raise the taxes. But I believe in the new city manager. He is capable and willing, and will get the job done.
I believe the tax increase we had to enact this year was mandatory in order for us to take care of our employees. It was simply the money that we raised extra was to take care of our employees so we could keep them, we could entice new people to come to us, because we need those employees, like we said, to run the city. So no, I don't want to pay more taxes. I don't want my mortgage payment to go up, which it is because of it. None of us do want. But we also want roads that we can drive down. We want employees taking care of things. We want our parks to be open. We want every place we go to be how we expect it to be. Those things all cost money. People ask, why does the city charging more? Well, everything the city gets, they buy from somebody else. All of that stuff went up in price too. For these vehicles that drive around the city and do city business, gas went up on all those vehicles. The cost of doing business went up along with everything else for us. It's not like the city was exempt from all that. So they're paying all those exorbitant prices on everything as well. I believe that looking at our budget this year especially, we've cut a lot of things from the budget. A $500,000 concrete machine that we were going to get, we've cut that from the budget. I've talked to other cities, they have bought those. Why? Because they're bigger cities like Port St. Lucie and Palm Bay. They can afford to buy one of those. We can't afford to buy one of those. Luckily, the concrete contractors are more available to us, so we're able to get driveways fixed when we're doing culverts and things like that, so it's good. We're in a good place right now. We have a great budget. It is a tight budget. We're not wasting all kinds of money. And if you want to see the budget, the beauty is if we change anything, we do it at a council meeting. All of those changes that someone assumes we do in the back room somewhere is being done publicly at a council meeting. We have to, 5 of us have to approve that for it to happen. Transparency is 100% there. Every decision we make is at a public meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're moving into our closing remarks. So you have 2 minutes to make your final statements. We'll start with you, Fred, then work down Sherrie, and then circle back to Junior.
All right, thank you. It was great being here today and having a conversation about some of these issues. The only thing I would say in closing is that I have been in service just about my whole life. I joined the United States Marine Corps right out of school. I served my country in the United States Marine Corps for 6 years. And after that, I spent over 30 years serving the state of Florida as a state trooper right here on the Treasure Coast, lived in Sebastian my whole time. And now I have been serving the city of Sebastian, and I plan to continue to do so with great pride. And if you would like, please vote for me on November 7th to return to council. Thank you.
I have been a public servant for over 35 years, and I continue to want to serve the public. This is, I have my direction, the way that I move is that I enjoy serving the people. As your voice as the next city council, I will continue to strive or be supportive of protecting our community and preserving the character and the quality that we have of our community itself. I also, I ask the tough questions. I am also very straightforward with my decisions and the ways I do. Everything I do is an educated or an informed decision, and I'm in this with you. I'm not in this for me. I'm in this to be a service, to be a voice for the community. I also am very proud to be endorsed by the local unions. I also was endorsed by the Realtor Association and also by many community leaders of this community. I am in this with you. We're in this together. We can't do this without each other. And I look forward to working with everybody, being a voice for that, And I think together we can do extraordinary things. And I ask that you vote for Sherrie Matthews on November 7th. Thank you.
To close, I guess. The opening was, nobody wanted to be here. I love coming to these things. I'm ready for anything. I always expect somebody's going to come in and shoot through the door. But I've been on council for 12 years. I'm very proud of my record. Go through it. And I love to communicate with people this way. I don't do social media because sometimes people get on there, they just want to vent. Let them vent. They don't care. They don't want to be right. They just want to yell. But there's several people in the room here that have requested my presence. And I've always returned calls. Damien can say that because I've returned every one of his calls. And I go out to meet residents. And I'm open and I'll tell you. And that's one of the things, I tell you what you need to hear. I don't tell you what you want to hear. That's an easy thing to do. I tell you what you need to hear and how we get from one place to another. I have faithfully served this city. I hope for your vote November 7th, or if it was yesterday or the day before, if you mailed it in. But I will continue serving this community whether I'm on the council or I'm not on the council. But I like to be part of implementation, and I watch the tax dollars, even though I have some headway problems with the Taxpayers Association. It was several years ago when Joe Griffin, the previous city manager before the last city manager, he got your award because he was super frugal at the time, but work was getting done. We have new management. I have high expectations for the city going forward. I have the institutional knowledge about going forward because every time you do one thing, there's a reaction. So every action you take, there's a reaction. So I have the forward thinking about that. And that has to do with my training in the Army. What was the worst thing that could happen when I went downrange? I'd blow up and die. What happened when I got a child abuse case and I went into the home? I always thought, what's the worst thing that can happen? A child dies here. So I'm constantly thinking what could go wrong. And that's the same way I entered this job with the city. Every time I read, I figure, what's the worst thing that can happen?
That's your cue. I appreciate it.
I want to say thank you for everyone's support that has voted for me over the past 3 years. I've felt very, very proud and honored to serve this community and serve it well. I work hard for the community. I'm a very analytical person, as my wife likes to tell me. I'll analyze it too much probably. I like to make informed decisions. I like to look at things. I like to understand what's going on. The budget, I've been through it a million times. I like to understand everything in it because I want to know what's happening. I want to know why we're charging this amount for credit cards at the golf course, or this here or this there. If we have to raise stormwater fees, where the money's going. I have to know all those things because that's just how I am. I need to know things. So with that, I make informed decisions. Like others have said, I served my country when I joined the Navy. I have 2 sons serving in the Navy now because I built a understanding that you have to serve your community, you have to serve your country in order to do the right thing. I'm here because I'm serving you. If you choose to re-elect me on November 7th, I'll keep working as hard as I have been for another 2 years at least. And I thank you for that. So if you can vote none on November 7th, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So let's not get the two confused. When you serve your country, that's a great thing. But when you're managing the community and you're giving direction, you're setting policy, that's another thing. I thank all the veterans that serve our community. We need a contract in writing with these people that they're going to stand firm to their promises. Contract with Sebastian, like contract with America. I will make every developer do jump throughs. They're not getting no flavors, no waivers, no deals. But I am a private property owner and I understand the private property laws. You have a right to build what's on the comp plan, what's on the planning and zoning, but you're not getting any flavors and deals, not from Damien, because I don't know anybody. I'm not taking money from developers. These guys are taking money. Fred's got 11,000. These guys, Mr. Nunn, taking money from developers. They're going to owe favors. So with that being said, Brian is going to be a great city manager, but he needs some direction. He's a young guy, but he's got an education. And if we set the policy correctly, do the strategic plan properly, we can get some results from Brian. But he's going to need some direction as well. These guys have run astray for the past 2 years. Nothing got done. I'm going back. I wanted to get rid of the city manager. I wanted to get rid of the city attorney. He was not a development attorney. He was a code enforcement guy. I knew we were up against the Graves brothers on annexations. Wasn't against annexation. I was just in favor of a good deal and make sure that we're protected as citizens. So I am the president of the Sebastian Homeowners Association. We will be speaking out. We're not going away. Even if I got to speak from cell 103, I'm not going away. I'm going to help those guys too. So with that being said, get out and vote. Vote for Damien Jr., Bob, Sherrie. Fred, thank you for your service. I know you need that extra money for your pension. You're a government employee too. I know they're all doing it for the pension. I understand it. So.
That's you too. Damien Jr.
Guys, I'm not here today for your vote. These guys all want your vote. Actually, I'm going to ask you not to vote for me. Specifically, don't vote for me. It doesn't pay enough. I'm 31. I got a whole life ahead of me. I got money. I got bills to pay. I got stuff I got to do. Don't vote for me. But you know what? If you need to vote for me, then I'm here for you. If you need me, I'm here for you. I'm a true son of Sebastian. And I see some parents out here in the crowd, and I ask you, where are your kids? I hope that they come back, because I came back. I came back to help my family's business. I came back to help my community. I'm a software engineer. I'm University of Florida educated. I got offers from every tech company in the world. I don't have to be here. I choose to be here with you people. And I care about this. And if you care about this, then you will make sure that you will go out and tell 10 other people to vote. Because this year I anticipate 3,000 votes. Maybe a little more than last time. But I was here 2 years ago and I told you about the same problems. I told you about the potholes. I told you about the docks. And nothing's changed. In 2 years, these guys do the same thing over 2 years. More than 2 years. More than 2 years. They've been doing the same thing over and over. If you want the same thing, do the same thing. By all means. I'm happy as shit over there, man. You guys don't need me. I'm doing my own thing. But you know what? These guys are controlling your community. And you're voting for the same thing over and over. Over and over. Over and over. Over and over. These guys, they do not care about your community. I do. If you want to vote for me, vote for me. If not, I really don't care. Like I said, I don't want to be elected. I really don't, man. I really don't. This shit sucks, man. I am personally, I apologize for my sharp tongue. I apologize for my vulgarity. I am very anxious being up here. This does not bring me any enjoyment whatsoever. I've been throwing up for 3 days. I feel sick just being here in front of you guys. I know you don't want me to be here, but guess what? I'm here because I care. Because I care about fishing. I want my grandkids to fish the same fish that I fish. I want my grandkids to have the same crabs that I had. I want my grandkids to play on parks without splinters. I want my grandkids, I want to have grandkids in this area. Otherwise, I'm leaving. Thank you. And I appreciate being invited. Hour and a half? Hour and a half, is any of this getting voted on? Not the budget, right? Sunshine law violation. Hey, $500 for everybody.
All right. So before we close things down officially, I do want to thank all of you all for coming. Lance is going to come up. He's got a few comments to make that ways that you guys can get involved in the community. We highly recommend that you do that. Lance, here you go.
First of all, thank you all for being here. We always love folks coming out here to our forums. Thank you all who have given us their time to be here. We had a great conversation. One of the things we are embarking upon is we are working with all of the clerks in all the municipalities and Clerk Butler at the county to see all of the see where there's any vacancies on county boards and municipality boards. And so I just heard back from City Clerk Sebastian, if any of our members are living in Sebastian, there's currently a vacancy on the Natural Resources Board and the Budget Board. So we encourage members who are residents of Sebastian to get involved. Those are good opportunities, and we're going to try to push those out for our membership to obviously get all of our folks who may not just be on the board, but members of our association to really be on these boards in the community, because obviously City Council, County Commission, these are where the big decisions are made at the top. Those local boards are so important for the functioning of government, so we encourage you guys to get involved, and that's a great way to serve in government without necessarily being an elected official. So Natural Resources Board and the Budget Committee currently have a vacancy each in Sebastian. If you're a resident of Sebastian, you are eligible. Please reach out to city government, or we can also help with that process. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lance. Next just by the way, if anybody is not a member, if you're not on our email list, come see Lance or myself afterwards. We can get your email, make sure you're aware of our future meetings. Our next one will be on Friday, November 3rd, back at the Vero Beach Yacht Club. We're going to have a State of the County update provided by County Chair Joe Ehrman and County Administrator John Tikanich. Should be a fun one. Hope to see you there.